Hello, I'm Bernard Keavy. I'm a business financial consultant and profit growth specialist. So I specialize in showing business owners how to significantly improve their profit. Now you need to understand some important points in order to do this. So the first thing you need to know is the meaning of the term fixed costs. And fixed costs are costs that you have to bear whether you sell anything or not. So generally it's things like rates, rent, wages, salaries, maybe depreciation of your equipment. So that's a fixed cost and you pay that whether you sell anything or not. Your variable costs are the costs that you bear as you sell more. So if you don't sell anything, you haven't got any variable costs. And as you double your sales, you double your costs. So it's the cost per unit of what you sell. So that would be things like consumables, materials. It could be charge out rate, your charge out rate. It could be higher costs for venues if you're doing presentations. But it's costs that vary in proportion to how much you sell. And your total revenue is how much you sell each thing you sell. So it could be a service per hour, it could be a commodity, but how much you sell it at per unit times the number of units. So if you sold 10,000 things at 50p a unit, then your sales revenue would be £5,000 or dollars. Now, once you know those numbers, if you knew your fixed costs are 50,000 and you know that you sell something at £20 a unit and it costs you £10 a unit to make it, that tells you you're making £10 or dollars, of course. That tells you you're making 10 on each unit you sell. And you have to sell enough of those 10s to cover the 50,000 fixed costs. So your break-even point, it's called, is fixed costs 50,000 divided by the profit you make on everything you sell, 20 minus 10. And it tells you in this instance that your break-even point would be 5,000. And you can plot it out on a chart. So the pink line is the fixed costs. The variable costs start at naught and go up in line with your sales. Your sales revenue starts at naught and goes up in line with your sales. And your total costs are the fixed costs added on top of the variable costs. And where your revenue gets higher than your cost line, that's called your break-even point, which in this case is 5,000. Now, if we sold more than 5,000, we make a profit. And the profit is the difference between our total revenue there, that much, and our total cost there, that much. And obviously, if you sell more, you make more profit. But also, if you can get your revenue line to go up more steeply by increasing your average revenue per unit. So that could be things like having a cross-sell or an upsell. It could be things like having segmenting your client or customer bank, having gold, silver, bronze offerings, bundling in extra value. All these ways of increasing your average price per unit makes your revenue line go up more steeply. And similarly, anything you can do to either reduce your costs or make them go up less steeply will widen the gap between your revenue and costs. So the first thing is your break-even point will now be lower than 5,000. It'll be down here. And the second thing, in this profit here, the difference between total revenue and total costs will be bigger. So anything to increase your average revenue or reduce your average costs will increase your profit. If you wanted to know how that could work for you, go to bernardkeavy.com and sign up for my free Sales Accelerator Roadmap. This is a 45-minute diagnostic questionnaire where I ask you a series of questions and then we process all the answers through an algorithm and basically come up with a series of recommendations that you could implement into your business, strategies you could implement into your business. And you wouldn't actually have to do that much. So if you can make a 1% improvement per week in a few key areas, just 1% overall in one of them, you'll find generally that you can double your bottom line profit in something like 6 months. So you're talking about what, 0.2% a day, 1% a week. And there'll be loads of ideas that you could implement, and you only need to do one at a time to actually achieve those sort of numbers. So if you're interested, it's free and it's a Sales Accelerator Roadmap. And all you need to do is go to bernardkeavy.com and click on the button. I hope you found that useful today. Thank you very much for watching.